Okay, all right. So here's a strategy you could start off with, right? So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to grab the blank strategy, right? Just going to copy the whole thing. Command A allows you to highlight everything. Control C, copy, right? And I'm going to bring that over to my new strategy here. Okay. Right. So if you ever want to start from scratch, just go to blank strategy, right? You can start from there. Okay. So now that I've gotten that, let me rename this first of all. I don't want this to be called blank strategy. I'm going to call this EMA MACD. Right. Enter EMA MACD. That's the name of my strategy now. Right. Change it down here too. Okay, and then I don't need any of this example code in here. So notice how I put like this example code around like this. I can just delete all that. All right. I start from scratch. And then this description here, I don't need that either. All right. Let's delete that. Okay. And actually, one more thing I'm going to change here. I'm going to put in blank strategy. We'll put in parameters. Symbol equals SPY. This is a more modern version. I actually made a bunch of changes since this code was originally made. All right, so I have parameters in here now too. Okay. So what I'll do is let's say, so we want to do this EMA and MACD, right? So let's maybe pick a symbol, right? So we'll do a symbol, right? Well, maybe we'll do SPY, probably the easiest one to do, right? Or is there anyone in particular that you have in mind? I mean,
no, SPY is good.
Okay, all right.
Maybe you could take a stock besides SPY also if you want to, maybe Apple or maybe Tesla. Just for an example, maybe.
So what was that? You want to buy another one first?
Maybe Apple or Tesla, just a stock to compare that with SPY. Maybe that is
okay.
Possible,
Apple, for example. Is that what you want to do, or like what am I misunderstanding?
No, it's okay. I mean, is it just one parameter, just one symbol, or are we going to do work with multiple symbols?
You tell me, what do you want to do?
We can do Apple and SPY, like two of them. SPY is like all the companies together, right? And Apple is just an individual company. So maybe we can do Apple and SPY.
And what do you want to do with those two assets?
Just want to see how the bot kind of functions using both these stocks. I mean, both these parameters. Maybe you could do one also. I'm okay with one also, but it'll work the same for the other one also.
No, we can do two. That's not a big deal. My question is just what is the strategy going to do? Right. So yeah, we could compare two symbols, but how?
So the thing I have in mind basically is one stock that is trending and another which isn't. I mean, so we get to see how the strategy works on two different stocks whose performances are different. So it will give us a fair idea like how this is working in like maybe a slightly bearish market or a slightly bullish market. And we have like something like we can compare with two stocks. One is performing well, one is not performing well, and how is our bot performing with when we apply to both these stocks, something of that kind.
Okay, that's interesting.
If I'm making sense, yeah.
So tell me. So I'm going to say it back to you and tell me if I'm understanding correctly. So it sounds like you actually want to have a list of stocks, right? And whichever one is trending, we're going to invest into that one.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So in that case, I'll go symbols with an S, and I'll make this, put as many as you want, right? Well, Apple, SPY, Tesla. What else can we throw in here?
Try NVIDIA or something.
what was that? NVDA? Is that what it is?
I think so. It's in NVIDIA or something. I think it's NVIDIA. VID. I think so. Yeah.
This is it? NVDA?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, I
symbol?
think so. I'll look at
I don't trade them very often, so I
Yeah.
don't remember what this symbol is. Okay, cool. So we have a list of symbols. You can add it, change it if you want to, right? It's part of the parameters. That's kind of what parameters are meant to do. They're things that you can swap in and out inside the algorithm very quickly, right? That's what parameters are meant to do. Okay. So we have our list of symbols, right? So what I'll do is I'll delete that and I'll go symbols. So it's actually already doing this for me, right? But I'm going to write it out myself. I'm going to go symbols equals self-parameter symbols. So now I have the list of symbols inside of my on trading iteration function, right? And then now, maybe what we'll do is we'll figure out, which one is trending, right? Check which symbols are trending up, right? Okay, so we'll go for symbol in symbols. Right, so we're going to loop over each one at a time, right? And then we will check. And we actually, first thing we want to do is we want to get data, right? So how far back do we want to go, right? So this is already doing a lot of stuff for us. It's kind of cool. MACD versus EMA is what they're doing here. I don't know if that's the correct way of doing this or not. But let's say maybe we'll make another parameter, we'll go EMA length, right? As a parameter. Is it just a 20? Is there a different speed that you want to go at?
20 is fine. 20, 21.
Okay, 20, let's do 21 then. Okay. All right, so 3 weeks exactly. I'm just going to turn on my AC here. It's a little hot today. Okay, so for symbol in symbols, right? And now what we want to do is first we want to get the data, right? So get the data for the symbol, right? So we're going to go data equals self dot get historical prices, right? For the symbol. And what do we need for get historical prices? Okay, this is the requirements. You don't even have to go into your documentation, by the way. This is like a little snippet from the documentation here, right? So get historical data. First thing that we need is the asset, which we have. Okay, the next one is going to be the length, which we have there, the EMA length. I'm going to go EMA length +1, right? And then time step is going to be day, right? So now I have my data. Now I need to get my data frame from my data, right? Because remember, data is a data object, right? And then we need to get our data frame from that, right? So there we go. So now we have our data frame. So now we have our data frame, we can calculate our EMA, right? So calculate the EMA, and we'll kind of just let ChatGPT do this. There we go. Very easy. Figure that out automatically for us. And then to get our current EMA, because this is going to calculate EMA for the entire data frame, right? But we really just want the last one, right? Because that's the current EMA, right? So we'll go current EMA equals, there we go, and it got that for me as well. Okay, so now we have the EMA, right? I'm familiar with how to use EMA to figure out trends. We actually have a couple bots that are doing this, right?
Okay.
How would you use MACD to determine trend, or is that still necessary?
MACD would probably give us like when the trend reverses, so if the EMA line and the MACD line kind of, if we can identify the stock movement based on the EMA line and the MACD line. So, based on that, we can maybe take a call of when to buy the stock. I mean, we get those, pointers where it gives us a hint where to buy the stock and where to sell it if the trend is reversing, so that way, if that works, I mean.
Okay, so
I think MACD is kind of confirmation signal.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes along with EMA. So
So what
it's more or less
specific
like
thing am I looking for? Am I looking for if MACD is above a certain level, or or am I looking for if this bot ChatGPT was trying to get me to do if EMA is greater than MACD, right? Like what exactly are you doing here? Like what is the if what,
so. How to uh, so actually when we use both these parameters together, MACD and EMA, you know, uh, the strategy which I had actually seen was like a double EMA, like which had a 8 and a 21-day EMA, moving along the price line of the stock,
okay,
and the MACD in combination.
okay.
So and when we actually study this to do both parameters together, it gives us signals of when to buy and when to sell. So it is already working. Many people are using this strategy already, but I wanted to see if the bot can actually grab this, and make trades accordingly, without, if we can someday build a basic bot this way.
Yeah, it definitely sounds doable, right? But okay, so you have your so you have two different EMAs, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Short and like a fast and slow.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
then what constitutes a buy signal? What constitutes a sell signal?
So when you take the MACD indicator, so what happens is that when the MACD works, I've seen the technical charts how the MACD works basically. So there is a zero line, and if the MACD is changing directions with the EMA lines, so when we have a comparison of both of them, then these we get this buy and sell calls over there. So
For example, uh, sorry, just I want to explain more maybe.
yeah,
When
sure.
the MACD line cross the zero line is coming above that, it's uptrend start.
Yeah, right.
But
Okay.
and when it's cross the zero and go downtrend is a stop.
Right.
Okay, so I think I see what you guys are getting at here. So what it sounds like to me is you have two EMAs, right? You're looking for when the short EMA is above the long EMA, I'm assuming, right? Means you're going
Right.
into an uptrend, right?
Right.
And when MACD is above zero.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. All right, so let's change this a little bit. So EMA short length, and we'll go EMA long length, right? These seem kind of long, 21 and 50. Tell me if you want to have different numbers there. Right, EMA short. This is going to be EMA short length. EMA long length. Right, and then when we're getting our historical data, we want to get the max of the long or the short, right? Whichever one's longer, that's the data that we're getting, right? Right, so we're getting our historical data there, right? And then now we want to calculate the EMAs, right? So EMA short is going to be current EMA short. EMA short length, okay? So there's our short, right? And then we're going to go DF EMA long, is even doing that for us, right? Current EMA long. Okay, so now we have our current short EMA and our current long EMA. And now we also want to calculate the MACD. Right, and let's let this thing figure it out. MACD. That is not correct. I mean, technically, this is actually the case. MACD is just moving average convergence divergence. right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
basically you're saying the same thing, right? So you're just saying if your short EMA is above your long EMA, it's the same thing, right? So we don't even really need to calculate MACD because that is MACD, right?
Okay. Mhm.
So I guess we're really just doing EMA crosses. That's it.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So
As I told you, they use MACD for confirmation to make sure, and they use different parameter for MACD. They don't use same EMA number on the MACD.
oh, I see. Okay. That makes sense, right? So you have different time periods, right?
Yeah.
So do you have any time period specific that you don't want to use?
On my MACD showing 12 and 26, EMA 9.
Okay. 12 and 26. So MACD short length 12, MACD long length 26. Yeah, that's kind of standard, right? So calculate the EMA, right? So we'll go
EMA on my MACD is 9.
okay. Right. I mean, we're both kind of saying the same thing, right? This is they're both just two EMAs, right? So you're basically doing 4 sets of EMAs. Is essentially what you're doing here. Right?
Right.
Because if we're comparing, you know, long and short EMA here, that's basically MACD, right? It's the same thing that MACD is, right? And if we're doing MACD on another one, so we're basically just comparing 2 sets of different EMAs, right?
Okay.
Is that correct?
You know,
Yeah.
on MACD there is some color changing. You know, that also they use for the confirmation when it's turned to green or turned to red. That they call it so what is that?
Histogram. The histogram colors. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, histogram.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So what exactly is that?
If I share my screen, it's very easier for me to explain for you.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to share your
Okay.
screen?
I can.
MACD here as well. Yeah, so is this what you mean, actually?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is just when MACD is positive or negative, right? So MACD is basically moving average convergence divergence, right? Which basically means take 2 EMAs and subtract them from each other, right? When the short is above, right, then it'll be above 0 and green, right? When the short is below, then it'll be below 0 and red, right? So basically what you're telling me is that you're using 2 different MACDs. Is that correct? Actually, would you share your screen? If you share your screen, that would probably be more helpful.
Sure. Sure.
Right, 'cause it sounds like you're pulling it directly from a graph, so it'll be easier just if we all looked at that.
Can you see mine?
Yep, I can see your screen.
Okay. See, for example, here. Let's go to Bitcoin. Okay. I have two this red and blue on the screen I'm showing. This 2 is EMA, okay, and down is MACD.
Okay.
When these 2 cross each other, the red come above blue, okay, and MACD is turning to green.
Yep.
And it's come above 0. Now it's time to buy.
Okay.
That was my. So this is, you know, your expertise to turn it to code.
Okay, yeah, this is no problem. So tell me, okay, so the red and the blue lines here, what are those
Okay,
exactly? Right, they're EMAs, but what length?
I will tell you the first one. The red one is length is 12, is SMA. For me, is SMA.
Okay,
Okay, the red one, and the blue one is SMA 32. But here length is, you know, the method SMA is the length is 5. The smoothing is 5.
What does that mean exactly?
Just when you add the indicator, if you can use same as mine in the
Well, what I'm saying is
the
what is smoothing? What does that mean? Like, what exactly is that doing?
I think it's the smooth the calculation. I believe they use the length 5.
Right,
This
but
one
what
is not that
I
much
understand that, but
important.
what
Even
is
I
this
can
smoothing?
ignore this. Even I can ignore
Okay.
this. Just go
Okay,
with
all right.
this.
Okay, all
Okay.
right.
But now the MACD, if I believe the MACD information is here.
Okay, it's 12 and 26. So they're different time periods, right? So you're getting 4 different EMAs essentially, right? And you're making sure that they're all confirming each other, right?
Yes.
So yeah,
Sometimes these two cross each other, these two line, but MACD still is in the red area or is
right,
under this. That
right,
time
because
is, you
because
know,
it's
is
using
not
different,
time to,
that's why.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, so let me share my screen again. And so basically what that means is we are just looking at 4 different EMAs, right? So we're going EMA short length, EMA, we'll call it EMA 1 short, EMA 1 long. We'll call this EMA 2 short length and EMA 2 long length. And they all have to confirm. Right. Okay. And what were your lengths again they used? Is 12 and 26 for the MACD. And then what was the first one again?
For
I think it'll be
me,
13 and 13 and 21, I guess.
13 and 31.
21.
no,
21.
no. Mine is different. You
Okay.
mean
Oh, you
the
can tell
EMA?
yours.
Or
Yeah, the EMA.
Yeah.
1 second.
We can adjust these very easily later on anyways, right? But
The fast line was 12. The slow line was 26.
yep, that's for the MACD.
Yes, and the other EMA was 32. The blue one was 32, and the red one was 12.
12. Okay. So 12 and 32 and then 12 and 26.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, we can play around with this later on. This is something that's very easy to switch, right? You guys will even be able to do this on your own computers very easily. Okay, so now we're gonna say we'll call this length needed. Yeah, so be one of the longs will be the best. Okay, that makes sense. Length needed, right? Right, and then we'll go here, calculate the EMAs. Right, so now we're gonna have to do this for all of them. Right, so let's go EMA 1 short. EMA 1 short length. All right, EMA 1 short. Right, so it's EMA 1 short, we'll go PF. EMA 1 long, right? We get that. Then we're gonna go DF EMA too short, right? And then DF EMA too long. Okay, so now we have all four of these EMAs. Okay, we have one short and long and two short and long. All right. Maybe
I
we
have
could,
a small question. In the length, why did you add 1 day? Like the long length and the intermediate?
this is because of when you do the calculations. Actually, I don't even know if I need to add it. It's kind of just a habit that I put. Let's try without. I don't think we need to add one actually in this case, because there are some calculations where you need one extra day to actually do it, right? But actually, I don't think we need it in this case. Let's try it without.
Okay.
Okay. So now, how are we going to determine this, right? So how are we going to trade this? Do we want to trade the asset that has the biggest trend, or do we want to buy all of the assets that are trending up?
Yeah, all of asset getting this information, and it's go to the signal showing it's time to buy for all.
So you want to buy all of the assets that are trending up.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's do this. We'll go, I'll make a little thing. So we'll go symbols trending up, right? And then we'll go if EMA 1 short is above EMA 1 long and EMA 2 short is above EMA 2 long. That makes sense. Then we go symbols trending up and we append this symbol. Okay. And we'll have a list of all of them that are trending up. Okay, cool. We have all that. Right. So now what we'd want to do is we want to trade these, right? So this there's a little bit of a complication here because we're gonna have to figure out how much of each one, right? Let's see if
1% of capital for each.
well, then
or
you're not
5.
going to trade all of your money, right? Because then let's say you only have 3, you're only gonna be trading 3% of your money. That's you're not gonna like it makes if you actually do the there's a lot of analysis on this. It's like every time you're not in the market, you tend to be losing money, right? Usually, right?
When I
Just
say
believe it going
1%,
up very high.
when I say 1%, always I think about the leverage things. Here we don't use leverage, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we're not using leverage.
So
Exactly.
5% or 10%.
Well, what I would suggest is that we use our entire portfolio, use all the money that we have, and just divide up by the amount of symbols.
Okay.
Right? So what I would do is amount to invest per symbol, right? Per symbol. So we're going to go self dot get portfolio value, right? So this will give me the value of my entire everything I have, right? And then divide it by however many symbols are trending up, right? So that's the amount that we're going to invest per symbol, right? And then now what we're going to do is I'm going to go loop through each symbol again, right? For symbol and symbols trending up. I'm going to get, okay, this is going to get current price, perfect, amount to buy. I'm going to make this a double slash because we're trading stocks. Then we're going to create order, amount to buy. This is actually very good. Wow, it literally did that for us. The only thing that we need to pay attention to here, right? So this is what this is going to do is it's going to loop through each one of our symbols and basically put out a buy order for each one, right? The only thing that we're missing.
Robert, for example, if SPY, the first one is turned to the uptrend, this system is going to put all the money on SPY, is not waiting for the next one.
It will invest in anything that's trending up. So say if SPY is the only one trending up, then it'll put all your money in SPY. But if
Okay,
it's
but
SPY and Apple are both trending up, then it's
okay,
going to put.
but for example, if you tell the system whatever is turning to the uptrend by 25% of, I think we have 4 symbol here, correct?
We have one,
Five, I
two,
think
three,
so.
four,
Five.
five. Yeah.
Okay, 20% of the total portfolio for each.
I mean, so again, I wouldn't recommend doing that personally,
Okay.
because then you're going to be sitting in cash very often. Right? What I
Okay.
would do is I would take all the money you have and put it into those 5 symbols. Or, if there's less, let's say there's only 2 trending up, then you want to put 50% each, right? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Right. Right.
I
Let's
think that'd be better because then you're not sitting in cash the whole time. Because if you're sitting in cash, you're almost for sure not going to beat the market. It's very
Okay.
hard to beat the market when you're sitting in cash all the time. So that's what I'd recommend. I'd recommend they take your entire portfolio and just divide it up. Right. So, okay, so that's what we're doing here, right? So the amount per symbol is going to be how much money you have in total divided by how many are trending up. So if only 2 are trending up, then let's say we started off with $100,000, then we're going to put 50,000 into one and 50,000 to the other. If there's only 2 symbols, right? If there's 3,
Okay.
then we're going to put 33% to each, etc. Right? If all of them are trending up, then 20% each, right?
So do I need to select the symbol, or will the system automatically select the symbol?
Well, here's our list of symbols.
Or I need to select the symbols myself.
Yeah, so you need to put in the symbols, yeah.
Okay.
Right. And I'm doing this specifically. You could make something like this that goes off and gets it from all the symbols in the stock market, but that will go really, really slow. I've been working with a client that's trying to do something like that. And there's like 15,000 symbols and like literally his computer cannot handle it. We had to do it all in the cloud and use like special databases and all that. It actually got very complicated to do this for a lot of symbols, right? For 4 or 5, it's easy. But as soon as you go into like 1,000, then, you need to do some sort of optimizations, right? Okay, so here we're doing 5, right? And you could change these to be whatever you want, right?
Right. And will the system detect which one is trending or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
that's what we did here, right? We
Yeah,
calculated
you put a
EMA.
condition. Right.
Yeah,
You put a condition. Okay.
this condition, right? So if the EMA 1 short is bigger than the EMA 1 long, and if the EMA 2 short is bigger than the EMA 2 long, then we consider that trending up.
Okay. Right.
The symbol is trending up.
You have to give the exit a strategy now, because if you just buy, how you come to know how much you gain if you don't sell it?
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to sell. So let's put it this way, right? Let's say if 2 symbols were trending up before, right? It was SPY and Apple. You had 50% in each. And now neither one of those is trending up. Now Tesla's trending up. Then we're going to sell SPY, sell Apple, and buy Tesla, right?
No, I mean this SPY and Tesla. In the beginning, you choose it's the system recognize and buy. So when he's going to close the position, we have to give the order here, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to check, right? So, actually, maybe what I'll do first. This could actually be okay. Sell all the symbols that are not trending up that we own, right? So we'll go positions equals self.get positions is everything that we own, okay? And we're going to go through for position in positions, right? And then if position.symbol, right, is not in symbols trending up, then we create a sell order. We're going to go position.symbol is what we're going to be selling. The amount is however much we own. That's our entire position. And we're going to do a sell. So if it's not trending up anymore and we own it, then we're going to sell it, right? So that's one.
So what happens? Yeah. So what happens if the trend is changing? Like we have shares of only 2 symbols, and the trend reverses. So the bot should automatically sell those and buy those when the trend reverses to positive again, right?
Yes, exactly, because they're no longer trending up. So this condition here will sell them.
Right. Okay.
Right. And then there's another way that you can sell, by the way, and that's if the percentages change, right? So let's say yesterday it was SPY and Apple that were trending. So we put 50% of our money into each. And now today, Tesla is also trending. So what we need to do is we need to reduce our positions in SPY and Apple and use that money to buy Tesla.
Right.
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 Okay, so let me think about how to do that. We want to buy the symbols that are trending up. Okay, so first we want to go like this. We'll go sell. We want to first sell and then buy because we want to have cash in our broker, right? Because otherwise, if you try to do the buy and the sell at the same time, the broker is going to reject your orders because it's going to say you don't have enough cash, right? So you first want to sell everything and then you want to buy, right?
Right.
So in this case, we'll sell. How do I phrase this?
You know, one of the options you can use sell when the EMA and the other EMA get cross, but the different side. Now
They
the
cross down.
Yeah,
Yes.
cross down. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we already have that. This already does that, right? Because it will not be part of our list of trending up. So if it's not trending up, it's trending down, right? So we'll sell it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that's
But-
already doing that.
sideway, sometimes it's sideway. What about that?
Sideways. Well, I mean, first of all, the probability of it being zero is very low. But if it is zero, then we're considering that a sell in our
Okay.
case, right? So it has to be positive in order for us to own it. If it's not positive, then we're selling it.
Right.
Okay. Sell any extra shares of symbols that are trending up, right? Because, you know, maybe we have too much in each symbol because we might own too much of them, right? So here we'll go through each one of our symbols. We'll go for symbol and symbols trending up. And we will say, we'll get our position, right? So position equals self.get position symbol, right? And then if position, because position could come back as none, right? So if position is not none, right, then that means that we have a position, right? Then we're going to get the current price, then the amount to sell. That's per symbol. Yeah. So let's actually break this up a little bit. ChatGPT is doing a great job today. Right. So, but let's break this up so it's a little easier to read. We'll make this quantity. We should own, right? So amount to sell is going to be whatever position we have minus the quantity that we should own, right? And then if the amount to sell is above zero, then we make a selling order, right? The amount to sell. And this has to be absolute, right? Because otherwise it's going to be a negative amount. We want to, right? So if you think about this logic, okay, so we go through each symbol, right? We get how much do we own of this symbol right now? Let's say this is SPY, right? And okay, if we own something in SPY, all right, then we continue. We have a position. Now let's get the price of it. And then how much should we own in SPY? Let's say it's, you know, let's say we should own $33,000, for example, right? So the quantity that we should own is maybe like 1,000 shares. And let's say that here, the position that we currently own is, you know, 1,500 shares, right? So we don't need absolute here. Now I'm thinking it through. So it's 1,500 shares that we currently own. and the quantity that we should own is only 1,000, well, then there's 500 that we should sell. So that's going to place that sell order here, right? It's going to sell that. Okay. So, okay, so now we've reduced our positions, and then now we want to buy. The symbols are trending up. So we want to do the same thing, right? We want to check if we have a position, right? And then now we want to say if position is none, then we just go and buy everything, right? Actually, no, let's do it a little different. We'll go value currently, value position is 0, and we'll go if position is not none, then value of position is going to be like this, right? We'll go price equals self.get last price. We're gonna do this. Okay. So the value of position is going to go up, right? And then now we want to just buy, right? So amount to invest per simple, right? That's what we're going to do. And then now we need to get if amount to invest is above 0, quantity to buy. There we go. Perfect. I think this should work. Right? Is this making sense? Any questions on this so far?
The last two parts, I get confused.
Sorry?
The last two parts, after the selling the position. Yeah, this part and that, these two.
Yeah, so this is to make sure that we own the right amount, right? So because we're using our entire portfolio to buy this, right? Maybe yesterday we were supposed to go 50-50 into Apple and SPY. But now today we're supposed to go a third into Apple, a third into SPY, and a third into Tesla, right?
Okay, now you sell some extra from here and invest on the new one.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So we sell from SPY and Apple and we buy the Tesla. Right. That's basically what this is all doing. Okay. So I'm going to put a bunch of breakpoints around here. So I want to understand if it's doing everything correctly. Right. That would be the next step.
So the breakpoints have what positions are the best to put breakpoints? Like any?
I'm putting. I'll put them around any key points of logic. Right. So I'll usually put it like when we're buying something, like when an order is going to go through, I'll definitely want to have a breakpoint there because I want to know when that happens. And then anything else that I kind of like usually around if statements, I'll put, around if statements, getting into if statement or not, right? That's like usually where I'll put breakpoints. It's like things that can influence what's going to happen with your strategy.
Okay, and this breakpoint you use only when you want to test, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And, I want to rename this strategy a little bit. We'll rename this to call this double EMA trading. Right. Because that's kind of what we're doing here. Right.
Yeah.
So rename this to stock double EMA trending. Okay. And .py. Okay. All right, so there we go. So I think this should be good to go. I gotta put the breakpoints back in because and in truth, like when you're first putting breakpoints around, I mean, it's a lot of it is kind of random too, because I just kind of want to see what's happening, and then I'll narrow things down as we go through. I just want to make sure all the logic is working properly. Right. Okay, so let's run this in debug mode. First of all, I want to go down here, check is live is false. That's great. And then now we have this time period. Okay, that's good. So we're doing a back test and in this time period. All right. Okay, so let's run this. Module object is not callable. Okay, that's because we need to do this from date time, import date time. That probably means if I go into, so I'll make sure this other blank strategy will work for you guys. Import date time. Yeah, so we need to do the same thing here from date time, import date time. There we go. Okay, so now let's run this in debug mode again.
So this backtesting is working for how many days of record?
This is going to go for all these days here from 2012, January 1st to 2023, January 1st.
Okay, you've already put the dates. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through here. So now we're looking at each symbol at a time. So we have all our list of symbols. Okay, we look at the first symbol, Apple. Okay, and let's see, Apple had a short EMA of 14, a long EMA of 13. So that is true. Short 14, long 14. So slightly trending positive. Okay, so that's good. So it adds it to our list. Hence, next one we add it. Next one, that one we didn't. Okay, and let's go through all this. Position is no attribute amount. Okay, so there's a bug there. What is this? It's not amount, it's dot quantity. It's not auto correcting for me. So in this case, I'm going to go to our documentation. UMI.com, and I want to take a look at position, right? It's a position entity that we get back. Whenever we get positions, we get back a list of these positions, right? So it's quantity as I want to get. So quantity, and it's not amount there either. Not amount there either. Okay. All right, so now let's run this again. Right, so notice that this is like an iterative process, right? I keep running it, see if I'm hitting my breakpoints, see if it's doing what it's supposed to, make corrections, and keep going back and forth until I get it to work, right? So now we have symbols trending up. There's only 3 of them: Apple, SPY, and Microsoft. Okay, good. That looks like it's doing its job. Then positions here, we have only US dollars. Okay, that's good. Right, so now if position, this should not execute. If position a symbol not in symbols trending up. Okay, so we have a bug here, right? And we're going to go and position dot asset and position because we want to ignore US dollars, right? We don't want to be selling our US dollars. That doesn't make any sense, right? So we want to go position dot asset is not we'll call, actually, we'll just look if it's Forex. Yeah, we'll go position dot asset. I think we can do that. Right, we have asset. Okay, and if we go into asset, you'll see that we have a type, right? Asset type. All right, so we're gonna go position dot asset type equals stock, right? And I can even do this through debugging. If I go into position, I can see here asset is US dollars and asset type is Forex. So it's not a stock. So we ignore that. Okay, so I'm gonna save these changes and rerun it. Okay, so if it's not in our uptrending and it is a stock, right? So if it's Forex, it's fine. It doesn't have to be trending up. We're not going to sell our US dollars. Okay. So now we'll go through that. Okay. And basically didn't sell anything, which is great. That's exactly what we should do because we didn't own anything, so it shouldn't sell anything. Okay, now we go sell any extra shares. right? So we check here, there's no position in that symbol, no position in the next symbol, right? No position in the next symbol. So we're good. So it actually ignored that properly. Perfect. And then now we say we buy the symbols are trending up. Okay. So now let's see if it buys it correctly. Go ahead here. So we got position is none. So value of position is 0. Good. The amount to invest is going to be $33,333.33. Okay, so that makes sense. So then the quantity should be that 33,000 divided by the price of this thing, which is $14. What is that? That's for Apple. Okay, so the price of Apple was pretty low back then. So the quantity that we want to buy is 23,013 shares, right? And then we're going to place this buy order, right? There we go. This looks good. All right, so we're buying Apple. And then now we're buying, what is it? We're buying here SPY, right? So we're buying 264 shares of SPY. And then we're buying Microsoft. Okay, so we're buying those 3. Perfect. Okay, so there we go. So that was our first iteration. We went through that, and now this is the next day. Okay, the next day came around, and now what do we have as trending up? We have now Apple, SPY, Microsoft, so the same ones. Okay, so really we shouldn't be selling anything or buying anything. Okay, but this is decimal and float. Okay, so quantity. So we'll call this, we'll go like this, we'll float. Actually, yeah, let's call float, because we don't need to be that precise. It's okay. Right, so there's a little bug there. Right, because position.quantity comes back as a decimal number, and the reason why is because crypto can have a large amount of decimal places, so we needed to use a different type, but we can just cast it. This is what we call typecasting, where we're going to take something that's a decimal, we're going to turn it into a float. Right, so that way we can do all of our math. We'll run through this again. Okay, so we're investing in all those 3 symbols. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now next day comes around, and now there's extra shares of symbols, which is a bit odd, 42 shares. Oh, probably because the prices of all these different things changed, right? That's the other thing, is that's going to be rebalancing every day as well, right? So we need to sell some Apple, right? Because it went up in price. Okay, so we're going to sell $42, 42 shares of Apple, right? Because we should own 2,200 shares, and we currently own 2,313. So we need to sell a couple. So we're going to sell some Apple, right? We're also going to sell some SPY, right? We're going to sell 5 shares of SPY. And then we're also going to sell some shares of Microsoft, okay? So we're going to sell 9 shares of Microsoft, okay? And then now we're going to buy some shares of Apple. It seems a bit odd that it's doing this. This makes me think that there's maybe some sort of bug here, because we just sold some Apple. So are we buying it now? Amount to invest, $49. Quantity to buy, 3. Okay, so we're buying back 3 shares of Apple for some reason here. That's really weird. We're buying 2 shares of SPY. Okay, so we did that. And also I'm thinking this should be like this. Should be checking if quantity to buy is greater than 0. Okay, so it looks like this is working the way it's supposed to. That seems a bit odd that we bought and then sold, but maybe it's because there's 2 iterations that went around. So let me actually put a breakpoint here so we can get that. Okay, so we go through 1 iteration, right? We buy all 3 of them, 1, 2, 3. Next iteration, now we sell a few of them, right? Sell, sell, sell. We only sold 2. Okay, and now it's the next iteration. Okay, this looks like it's doing what it's supposed to. Okay, and then it sold 1, bought a couple there. Right, so this looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do, right? So let me take away these breakpoints and let's run this and let's see if this thing makes any money. All right, we'll let this thing run, okay? Okay, can't divide by 0. Okay, so we should check if symbols trending up is greater than 0. So go if symbols trending up length, right, is greater than 0, right? And then we do all that. Otherwise, we don't even go into any of this, right? Right, there we go. We'll run this again. See if we can get through it without crashing. Okay, so back test is running.
So the backtest result will be seen on Alpaca.
This will not be an Alpaca. This is when we get our tear sheet and our trades thing that shows up in the browser.
Okay.
Right. So it's going to take about 4 minutes to run this back test. While this is running, I'm just going to run really quickly to the bathroom. All right, I'll be right back.
Sure.
All right, guys. Okay, so looking at this back test, we're almost there. We're about 30 seconds in, so we'll get a result pretty soon. By the way, so you know what I would usually do when I'm doing this sort of thing. This is a pretty long time frame. This is 10 years. When I'm first starting strategy, usually what I'll do is I'll reduce this to like 1 year, right? And the only reason why I do that is so that I get these results quicker, right? I'll test it
Or
on like years. What's that?
but if you go from the 23 to 22, you know, last 1 year or 2 years, at least we know the market.
Yeah, we could do that.
Remember them.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. All right, okay, so we got it for this. Let's see how this turned out. Wow, that actually looks pretty damn good. All right, so I'm looking at this here. It looks like we're doing well. I also usually I'll check my cash too, that I didn't do anything wacky. There's this one point in time where it puts into a negative cash balance, which is not good. Wow, this looks very impressive.
Wow.
Jesus, this looks like a great strategy.
But sharp ratio is only 1 point something.
Yeah, it's a good
That's
strategy.
higher than the benchmark, right? Because the S&P in the same time period is 0.71. So we're still being the benchmark.
Right. That's a great to
And
tell.
drawdown, we are more than market benchmark.
Yeah, so it's riskier than the stock market. Yeah, but you're also making a lot more money, right? You're making 30% a year. Pretty damn good, right?
That is a year or totally from that year to now?
Per year.
Per year.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's compound annual growth rate, right? Cumulative return is the total amount. So in total, you made 1,700%, whereas the stock market only did 270%. But if you annualize that, like what we talked about today, it was 30% versus 12% for the stock market.
And if we don't take money, that 100,000 maybe 10 to million or more, correct?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, because it looks like you can get about 20 times your money back, right? So if you put in 100,000, you probably have about 2 million. Right, that's kind of what happened here, right? Because we started here, I believe, at $100,000. Yeah, $100,000 what we started with, and then by the end of it, the whole strategy was worth. I'm gonna get rid of this and this, and get rid of my cash. The whole strategy at the very end was worth $1.8 million. So
and on the top one, on the peak, can you go on the peak?
you have made about 3.5 million.
Wow.
That
Wow.
is,
That's good.
that's really good.
Yeah. That's a strategy.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, and if you want to learn a little bit more about algorithmic trading and how you can build your own algorithmic trading robots, well, then you should book a call with one of our staff. They're very knowledgeable. They know a lot about the subject and can help you with the next steps. So if you are watching this on YouTube, then that link should be in the description. Or if you're watching this on our website, then you will have a book a call widget below, powered by Calendly, most likely, that you can use to book a call. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.